Okay, kids, are you ready for 11.1.5?
This is going to be so fun.
Are we nearly there yet?
Almost. The patch is almost.
Some of
the patch is almost here. We'll be there any minute.
Are we nearly there yet?
Like your mum just said, we'll be there any minute.
Are we nearly at the Dinars yet?
I want Dinars!
Yes, we're nearly... Wait, what?
Where are the Dinars, Daddy?
You'll get your puzzling cartel chips, son, I promise.
But when?
Yeah, when do we get the Dinars?
Hey, are you excited about the Nightfall event? You get to squish bugs.
You love squishing bugs.
I want Dinars!
Puzzling cartel chips!
Look, I'll ask Ian if he's got any when we get there, okay, son?
I want 2!
I want 3!
What about horrific visions? I bet you can't wait for horrific visions.
Dinars! Dinars!
Puzzling cartel chips!
Okay, that's enough, okay? There is plenty of fun stuff in this patch, eventually, and you will both get your puzzling cartel chips, all right?
You promise?
I almost definitely promise, yeah, okay? Now let's just get going and enjoy the lovely new patch, all right? Good.
When are we getting the Dinars?
Knowledge is power.
Hello Internet, Taliesin here. Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Reset. Taliesin and Evitel's Wondrous Wisdomshow in a special episode all about the new patch 11.1.5 and all of the delights therein. But what delights are therein? And exactly how delightful are they? Well, we're going to tell you by ranking every new change and feature in the patch, because this is the internet, and that's what we do here, okay? Oh, and also, for a little bit of fun, somewhere throughout today's episode, we've hidden 2 puzzling cartel chips. I wonder if you'll be able to find them, or if you'll be left wondering where they are for literally ever. Let us know how you do in the comments below. Now, you may have heard that this patch is a bit of a tease and spreads its content out a bit, and that is true. More cynical commentators than me might call it time gating, but I prefer to think of it as timed content behind a gate. Anyway, here's Evitel to give us the lowdown on exactly what you can expect this week when the patch launches with the Day 1 experience.
Let's start with the big stuff. What will you be doing on day 1 of the new patch? Well, does it get any bigger than huge new class changes? How will these impact your class? Will you have to re-roll? Oh my god, I hope you don't have to re-roll. Let's take a quick look at all those changes right now. Arms Warrior. The visuals for the Warbreaker ability have been updated. Yeah, I was joking about that being a big one. Sorry, there's no other class changes. That all happened last week.
Evie, you're supposed to be rating the changes. More internet, come on.
Oh yeah, sorry. The Warbreaker change is actually pretty great. It gets rid of the weird phantom weapon summoning thing that was introduced in 11.18 whole weeks ago. It's still got the spin, but that's a solid win of a change. But the real big deal this week is the Nightfall event in Hallowfall, which introduces a new faction to earn reputation with, the Flames Radiance. If the Arathi were an Overwatch character, then Flames Radiance are them with the white matte legendary skin unlocked, and progressing your rep with them will unlock cool white versions of the Arathi sets, voidy Arathi weapons, a white lynx mount, a color variant for your dirigible, a male cat toy, a trio of tabards for your collection, and champion track catch-up gear. So the standard stuff, as is the event itself. We talked about this in last week's episode, but it's the usual WoW open world event blueprint we've all come to know and love, like Suffusion Camps, Researchers Event, Time Rifts, the Theater Event, and the like. Every 45 minutes, on the PTR at least, a 10-minute Sureki invasion will kick off, and you will be tasked with completing little timed mini-quests like killing mobs, freeing prisoners, or burning eggs to fill up a bar, which will improve everyone's final final reward that they'll get after killing the big bad bug boss baddie at the end. As these WoW events go, it's not as imaginative as Time Rifts, nor as spectacular as Suffusion camps. But it does take place in Hallowfall, which scores it big points, and I think it's a middling win on its own terms. The rewards are fun, and I like that you get extra buff as you progress with your Light's Radiance reputation that make you stronger in Hallowfall and Azj-Kahet. Buffs which, of course, are account-wide, since Warband reputation also is. The other big event of day one is the Winds of Mysterious Fortune, a month-long leveling buff. This gives players a flat 20% increase to experience up to level 79, but that's not all. Any character below 80 will also have a chance to pick up mysterious satchels when looting or as a quest reward bonus. These are so mysterious that they haven't even been on the PTR. But Blizzard says that satchels can contain a variety of fun and useful items. Yeah, I'll be the judge of that, thank you. Running the gamut from visual enhancements, temporary stat boosts, and even a chance at some leveling gear. They can also contain a 2-hour 10% experience boost potion, which does stack with the existing 20% buff, giving you a nice 30% boost to your alt leveling endeavors. It's just a bunch of buff, many XP, much level. But that's not all. For anyone who flew into Zaralek Cavern once and then immediately hearthed back to Valdrakken, definitely not me, obviously, the Mysterious Fortune event also gives huge renown buffs across Dragonflight and the War Within factions. Dragonflight factions receive a massive 200% renown buff. That goes for the major factions, but also includes the Loam Niffin, the Cobalt Assembly, remember those guys, and both Rathian and Sibelian, for those of you who favored one daddy and never went back for the other. How very dare you. But that's not all. War Within factions give a 100% renown buff and include the Council of Dornagal, the Arathi, the Assembly of the Deeps, and all 3 big Spideys. As for Undermine factions, you'll need to keep busting your bottoms for those sweet cheeks. That rep ain't gonna grind itself, alright?
What?
Oh, but don't forget that completely separate to this event, 11.1.5 is also increasing main Cartel renown gains from just about every source, but 100% permanently. So actually, your cheeks probably won't be all that busted. Everyone loves a leveling event, but I especially like how they are gamifying this one a bit with the satchels and stat buffs and other items. This is an obvious win for me. And that's kind of it for day one content, but there's other new updates arriving this week, including the Cooldown Manager in the UI.
And this is a subject very close to my heart, as those of you who watched our Can You Play WoW Without Add-ons video will know, where I got a healer, 2 tanks, and an off-meta DPS to Keystone Hero without using any add-ons at all. An experience which I thoroughly enjoyed and which left me thoroughly impressed with how improved the modern WoW UI options and editing capabilities are. That, by the way, is one of our favorite videos we've ever made, so if you haven't seen it, you should probably check it out. And for the most part, yeah, I had no need for combat add-ons like Weakauras if I didn't want them. I was able to make what I call fake auras with unbound action bars that served pretty much the same function. The only thing really missing was some indication of when an ability was actually active, like, say, power infusion coursing through my veins, and the ability to track my effects on other things, so like showing the remaining duration of agony on my target, for example. So the question for me is, does this new Cooldown Manager solve those issues and replace my fake auras? Well, the main cooldown bar does show the duration of effects, like power infusion, when you use them, so that definitely is a big improvement. I love the duration bars for things like Surrender to Madness, Summon Demons and the like, and the extra aura icons to show buffs and procs that don't appear on the main bar are very nice too, as are the utility abilities that some classes get. This alone is a definite win for the Cooldown Manager. There isn't, though, the option to track your dots on a target, so it won't replace my Weakora augmented fake aura action bar just yet, but that's not a problem. This is another step forward in WoW's genuinely very good UI evolution recently. But there is some weirdness going on here that I have to point out. You can change the shape and size and position of these bars in the edit mode, as you'd imagine, but weirdly, you cannot decide which abilities are in each bar. Blizzard have made that decision for you, and there is no changing it. Blizzard have decided that Shadow Priest gets these exact 10 abilities in the main bar, and you must have all of them. You can't add to these abilities or take away from them. Blizzard have decided that these exact 6 abilities will be on the Balanced Druid main bar, and you can't add to them or take them away. Blizzard have decided that these exact, for f***'s sake, 15 abilities appear on the Brewmaster Monk main bar. And I know, Balanced Druids, don't feel bad, okay? Balanced Druids, no one is saying that your class is super easy compared to the others just because you've got comparatively no icons on your Cooldown Manager. Well, I mean, Blizz do appear to be saying that actually, but don't feel bad. I hate to see chickens cry. And if you are going to have the main bar of the Cooldown Manager visible for Brewmaster, it must show all 15 of these abilities. No more, no less. Also, and this might be even worse, you can't change the order of any of these abilities. Every single one of these icons will be shown in this exact order and relation to each other, no matter how unintuitive that might seem to you. This is a big L in my opinion, and renders the Cooldown Manager basically unusable compared to my own augmented fake auras. For now. But then, I'm not sure that this initial launch of the feature is really aimed at me. The order those abilities appear on the bars, that's the order in which you get the abilities as you level up. A new player who doesn't even know what Weakauras are, who has these bars showing and gets one new spell added at a time as they level, the Cooldown Manager is an absolute game changer for them, a huge and glorious win. So I overall really like this, with the caveat that I'd really like to see some more advanced customization added to it in the future.
More bits and bobs for day 1 of the patch. You could almost say this is Evie's day 1 rundown. Let's run down. Guilds can now be renamed at the Guildmaster NPC in major cities using gold rather than a paid real-life money service. I mean, in reality, you could and still can pay for any in-game service using gold with the WoW token, but now it's properly facilitated in-game. Win. The Trading Post has a new shopping cart feature that lets you add multiple items to the cart before buying, which I guess is a win, but which hasn't been testable on the PTR. Even Naguura in her official 11.1.5 video on the official World of Warcraft YouTube official channel wasn't given any footage to use by Blizz, so I think I might hold off on calling that one a win just yet, if that's okay. Finally, new accessibility options allow you to change the colors that different quality of gear are displayed in. Log into your partner's account while they're out of the room and change legendary items to green for the best prank since that one time Blizz said there would be Dinars in the 11.1.5 patch. That's a joke. Obviously, there will be 2 puzzling cartel chips in 11.1.5. Somewhere. Somehow. At some point. Oh wait, is that one over there right now? Ah, no, sorry, it was just the wind. Keep an eye out though, and you may be looking at all these features that we've rated wins and be thinking, oh, awesome. So day 1 of the patch is a massive win then, right? And yes, all of these features range from fine to pretty good. And that's awesome. But the question that I'm sure you're all sick of hearing by now is, of course, is that enough? Blizzard's time gating of the patch means that the majority of the new content coming in 11.1.5 isn't available this week, and it will be 6 weeks before all the features of the patch are actually live. Is the Nightfall event and the leveling event and the Cooldown Manager enough to last a month until Horrific Visions make their tentacly comeback? Well, going by my own personal feeling, I'm gonna say no, and that overall day 1 of 11.1.5 is a fail. Simply because of the disappointment of having to wait for most of, the whole patch. But I hope I'm wrong. I hope Tally's wrong. I always hope Tally's wrong. I hope that this stuff is super fun for 4 weeks and keeps everyone super happy. I'm not trying to piss on your chips here, okay? I'm not telling you you should be disappointed. I really hope that everyone has a good time. I hope I have a good time. I hope we get to come back later and revise this rating. Seriously.
As usual, we are linking a few Wowhead articles in the description of this video that we think will tell you even more about everything that we talk about in this episode, and we'll be sure to update it with any new information that comes out with the launch of patch 11.15, because that does occasionally happen, you know? Now though, we are going to look forward to the other features of the patch, even though they are a ways out yet. Because if we didn't, then how could we rate them? And this is, after all, an internet rating video. So first on the menu, a month after the day one launch, will be the returning Horrific Visions. A feature that I was not looking forward to at all when it was announced, because it just gave me weird subconscious feelings of grindy dread, but which I've actually really enjoyed on the PTR. Because this is Horrific Visions in their purest form. You know how Torghast was always obviously a very cool idea, and it was really cool in the Shadowlands Alpha when it was just a cool thing, but then Blizz did what they always did back then and didn't trust people just to play the cool thing for fun and attached the expansion's whole legendary grind to it, which meant it was by definition limited but also mandatory, and then no one really liked it. But then in 9.2, Blizzard were like, it, uncapped the legendary currency in Torghast, and also just did a new version of it, which was just like a gauntlet for cosmetic rewards, and everyone realized that actually they really like Torghast after all. Do you remember all that? Yeah, well, this is a bit like that, yeah. Now that you don't have to grind out dailies and weeklies for keys that will get you into just a handful of Horrific Visions per week, which you better not dick up, by the way, because you need to get it right to level your legendary cloak. Actually, now you can just do as many as you like. Make progress every time, and who knew playing content on your own terms because you want to is actually really fun and rewarding? Hooray for the new WoW that finally realizes this. So on the PTR, testing this, I found myself exploring visions, taking chances and trying new things, and generally just taking it all in and enjoying it way more than I ever did when it was current content in BFA. You can go in with friends or take a brand style companion to perform whatever role you like alongside you, completing different wings and challenges to unlock the 8 masks which you equip to boost the difficulty and get even more rewards which you use to unlock the Hourglass of Horrific Visions, which improve your survivability in visions by doing things like, you know, increasing your sanity bar or decreasing the rate at which you lose sanity, as well as buying the new Corruption head enchants and other more permanent rewards. Like, I'll give you 3 guesses. Did you say champion track catch-up gear? You were right, yeah. Cosmetic Nyalotha armor set recolors, new backpack appearances, and a voidy Slitherdrake mount. Oh yeah. After waiting for a month, it is a bit silly in my opinion that there is time gating on the Hourglass and Corruption unlocks currently, but it's probably not enough to stop this being a big dub of a feature overall. If I have been won over by these, then they probably are in fact very fun indeed. And then there's the Dastardly duos. You remember from last week, I managed to completely mess up my recordings and don't have footage for, so I'm just gonna whack the official WoW YouTube official video from Naguura up there, and you'll just have to take my word for it that this is probably the best content of the whole patch. Just 6 weeks after the patch launches, I know. Challengers enter the arena, either in full groups of 5 or with your trusty follower dungeon crew filling the gaps, or completely solo if you like, although I probably wouldn't recommend that, and summon random old dungeon bosses, killing as many as you can and scoring as many points on the board as possible before the timer runs out. There's a bunch of food and drink buffs to choose from before you go in, and then lots of things that can increase your score once you're in there, like killing mobs within certain areas and what have you. The Summoning Horn consumable is on a 30-second cooldown, but if you keep blasting it for new bosses before killing already summoned enemies, then you can quickly become overwhelmed. At the end of each run, you can show off your high scores on the podium in the public area, which you can of course be displaced from or lowered in the rankings if someone comes along with a higher score. And this is the whole public and social element of the event. You don't watch other people play, like in Brawler's Guild. You don't have to wait your turn. You can go into the area and start fighting whenever you want. want. Unlike Nightfall and Horrific Visions, which will be permanent additions to the game, they're never going anywhere ever again. This is a limited time event, more like the Trial of Style or Dark Moon Fair, which presumably will swing back again a couple or a few times a year, creating a sense of occasion and excitement in the moment. It won't be for everyone because nothing is. This will surprise you, okay? But there are genuinely people who don't like our videos, and I know you're gonna find that hard to believe, but it's true. I've read the Wowhead comments, but I ended up testing this way more than I was expecting to. I promise I did, because it's got that great quality that Mage Tower and Zekvir and Underpin and Plunderstorm have of once you're done, you just want to get up and go straight back in again for one more try. Actually, I wouldn't mind guessing that it's the Plunderstorm team who developed this idea in the first place. There are gonna be people who go absolutely wild for this. This is going to stream really well too, but I think there is a fair bit of fun for everyone to have here, even if they're not taking a week off of Mythic plus 18s to push Dastardly duos. There are 6 weekly quests throughout the event that will bag you, I think it's, Champion Track gear rewards and other things like the Winner's Podium High Score toy to show off your Dastardly prowess anywhere, even when the event is over, and the Tyranno-Taught gold-plated turtle mount, which... yes, I'll be getting that. Thank you. This event is way more of an unknown entity than the other 2 content drops in this patch, so I reserve the right to change my mind once it's out in the wild because, hey, it might change in the next 6 weeks. Who knows? But I'm gonna say Dastardly Duos is tentatively a total win. Even though I don't like the drawn-out cadence of it, but I'm not going to bang on about that, I promise. And there we have it. Patch 11.1.5, rated in a good, honest, internet-style few. I'm really interested to see what the reaction in the player base actually is, though, and how people feel about the rollout in practice. In the meantime, let us know what you think of the new patch in the comments below, and thanks for joining us today. If you like this video, don't thank us, thank our patrons who give their actual, real-life money to make all of our work happen, and patrons, sincerely thank you, because without you there would be a whole lot less Taliesin and Evitel. If you didn't like it, downvote the shit out of it, and remember, my name is Katza Gaming. No, my name is Taliesin from me and Evitel. Until next time, cheerio.